So, we're going to kick off with a talk quickly about France, and then this is going to transition into a talk about PR. As you will see in a moment, there's a bit of a story here. So, obviously, if you look what has just happened in France, it generally looks like the government is once again at the point of collapse, where after Emmanuel Macron called this very quickly snap general election, uh, didn't really get the result he was hoping for, and essentially he's had to very, very much try and compromise to try and get um, ideally someone in there to at least get stuff done in the Senate, and that was of course Michel Barnier. Michel Barnier tried to pass a budget. This budget did not pass, as they would not vote it through. Various reasons as to why they would not vote it through from all different kinds of the political spectrum. Let's just say that it is not one thing or one reason why this budget, no matter how many, many different people are trying to sort of spin this as to why this budget failed. Numerous reasons, lots of different factions wanting various different things from this budget or wanting other concessions for them requiring to vote for this budget, which they did not get. I think that is a fault of Emmanuel Macron. I think that he should have gone and negotiated in some way, shape, or form, particularly when you've got that big block of populist left. If you want to look at an example of how you head off the far right, yeah, you go speak with the populist left. Look at the example of Poland with Donald Tusk. Donald Tusk and Poland really sort of led the way in how you sort of destroy the far right in a potential voting in a general election and voting. You've got to make compromises. I've said this before. I am all about sort of compromising. I have no problem so long as it has a good outcome. I think political parties should be able to work with each other regardless of where they are. But what matters, of course, is the outcome. And that, of course, involves compromise. But that's probably a discussion maybe for another time. But what essentially happened next was Michel Barnier used some sort of I don't know what's the best way to describe this, magical like wizardry, like French wizardry, I suppose, to say no, this budget gets passed. This then resulted in a vote of no confidence, and now France is in political anarchy. No one knows what's going to happen next. No one knows if they are going to sort of force Macron out. It could go for maybe another general election. We don't know. But one thing that we also have to talk about is at the exact same time that this was unfolding was that there was a vote happening in the House of Commons for proportional representation. And guess what? It passed. It passed, had a majority of 2, so it was a slim minority. But once again, I want to point out the fact people who say they want PR, when something like this happens, they diminish it. They say, yeah, you did that, but you ain't got PR. And I'm like, you fools, you know nothing about politics if you generally think that. This was a massive achievement to get this vote and then to get it passed. Because I keep on constantly talking about putting pressure on the government. You constantly put pressure on the government, on political parties to do this. Over 10 years ago now, we had the alternative vote referendum. After that, everyone said changing the voting system, moving to PR, or anything like that, that is dead. That is what all the critics said. Still, many of those critics still say today. But again, votes like that prove them wrong. What happened? Well, always, as I bring up the story of Labour for PR, coming out after that, being created in the ashes of that referendum, where people said, you will never get PR done. And yet everything they have achieved is monumental, because at every single hurdle, even by other people who want PR, have said diminished every single achievement they have ever done. or ever accomplished. Oh, you'll never get more than 80 local labor associations to vote for PR. Congratulations. We've got all of them pretty much. There's like 3 or 4 holdouts. To which everyone returns around and goes, so what? So what? And you're like, so what? You've got a ton of local labor associations now saying, you know what, PR, that's quite a good idea. And you know what this did? This then puts it on the agenda at every single Labour conference going forward to have this discussion, to start changing minds, to start pushing for this. And remember, after that was done, what did they go on to say? Oh, you'll never have it passed at the conference. You'll never have it approved. Guess what? They did. It failed first time, succeeded the second time. Guess what? You just do it again and again and again. You keep on putting pressure. And to those who say, oh, well, you passed at the conference, but, still nothing happened. No, passing it like that is a massive achievement. And I think that if you can't get around the fact that that is a massive achievement, then you probably shouldn't be involved in politics because this now propelled us to get what happened very recently in the House of Commons, that we had a majority of 2 passing a motion to have a look at proportional representation, to start these types of things, to have these conversations. That is a big monumental achievement. But there will be people who will just turn around and just go, ha, so what? And yet, here's the thing. When PR, when the history of PR is finally done and passed, it is not these people who turn around and said, oh yeah, you passed that, then what? So what? They're not going to be the ones in the history books. It is going to be people who were part of the beginnings of, even before the AV referendum, who campaigned for PR. It is going to be people like, Labour for PR that are going to be mentioned in the history books. They're going to be nowhere, these types of people. And there are a lot of people on the left who look at these achievements and just diminish them. But these are big achievements. And one of the things why we're going to talk about France and PR is that there is an argument. There is an argument for keeping first past the post. And that is, of course, that first past the post delivers you stable governments. Now, before you jump in, I know the past couple of years, but bear with me. You look at France, they will turn to France and they will say, ha, you want PR? Look at the chaos that has been unleashed by that particular voting system in France. And they have a point. They do have a point. But of course, we can then turn around and go, well, hold on. What about everything that's happened since 2016? The chaos that happened sort of in Parliament, all that type of stuff that went on there. So there are arguments against it, and there are arguments against it. But there are also, as we must admit, that there are arguments for PR. Like it or not, I don't like first past the post. I would much prefer PR, but there are arguments for keeping first past the post. Now, the big question is where do we go from here? Well, once again, we keep pushing. We keep doing these types of votes. We keep on the pressure and keep on pushing. Because that is how you affect change. That is how you do this type of stuff. And yet, there will be people. There will be, other people out there. I'm not going to name any names, but when you bring this up to them, they will just go, oh. Then that's it. That'll be the response. It'll be a shoulder shrug, and that'll be it. That will be the only response they have. It is a monumental achievement, what has been achieved so far. The PR movement is stronger than it ever was before. More people are talking about PR than ever before, especially after this last election. And it is something that no future government will be able to ignore for too long, because there will be A constant building of momentum that we are now seeing from these types of votes, from this type of activism that exists. And if you want PR, get involved with that activism. Get involved with that, because shrugging your shoulders at things like, getting all local labor associations on board for PR, getting it approved at conference for PR, then having, again, the most recent vote in the House of Commons, just shrugging your shoulders and just say, you haven't got PR. Yeah, that's how you get PR, though, by doing that type of thing. So I'll leave you with that thought today. But as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, there's links down below: Patreon page, buy me a coffee link, YouTube thank you button. And of course, as always, you can hit the like and share button on your way out. And of course, we'll see you all next time.